Hey guys, okay, so I got a rematch against Martin Del Campo, and I blundered a piece in that first game we played, so it's time for some revenge, eh? It's not even revenge, like, revenge on myself, maybe? Okay, so we're playing, a fairly mainline position from the same-ish. I'll go a4 to stop him from playing b5. This is a common idea. h5, he'll chase my knight. This is a cool thing about this line. You often don't mind putting the knight on this square on f2, and he goes for f5. I think I was supposed to take against this and then play f4 next. So I will do that. Or is it knight h3? It might be knight h3 first. Knight h3. No, I think it's f4. Let's just do f4. And I think he puts the knight on g6 typically here. He's trying to remember his theory as well. Is it now knight h3? Yeah, I think it is. Because I think the thing is, I want to play bishop f2. And with the knight on f2, that's awkward. Yeah, so now I'll go bishop f2. He can try to go for b5. That is possible. Because after a bunch of exchanges on this square, my b2 pawn is vulnerable. So it actually might have been slightly more accurate for me to play queen d2 if I wanted to defend that b pawn. But I think this is okay as well. I think this is perfectly fine. Because when I play bishop f2, like now ideas with bishop h5 are possible. He'll have to think about that. Trying to drive away his knight so I can win the f4 pawn. He plays queen there now. Okay. Should I play a5? Should I do something else? Now bishop h5? I seem to remember king h1, rook g1, and g3 being an idea in this system too. I'm just going to go queen d2. I don't think b5 is a problem for me yet. This is very similar to a game I played in Iceland in 2012 against Peter Doggers, who's the chess.com press guy, basically. He writes a lot of their articles, and he used to write for Chess Vibes, which has since been purchased by chess.com. But Doggers played this same line against me. I was white in that game. Doggers played for an early b5. Rook a e1 here. Yeah, seems reasonable. I want to go bishop h5, but I also don't want to commit my bishop if he still plans on playing b5. And I feel like he's going to let me know soon if he wants to go b5 or not. Very soon. Let's just do it now. I think with all this tension, he's less likely to do it. Actually, I'm just threatening to take on g6. So b5 now would be horrible. He'll probably just double up his rooks. Yep. Might just trade everything off. Trade all the rooks off, that is. Let's start with that. I can win a pawn now. I can take and then take on h4. I don't think I want that, though. Because his minor pieces are kind of bad. So I'm just going to like trade the rooks instead. Maybe I should have played a5. I can still do it. I can still play a5. Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's a nice patient move. Gets my a-pawn off of the a4 square too, so my knight is not tied down. Not like this knight has anywhere better to go, but... I can go knight g5 next, perhaps. He might play bishop h6, though. Plays it now. It's a complex game. G3. Do I want to play G3? Kind of, because my F4 pawn is becoming weak. Let's do G3. He'll probably take, so I'll pre-move that capture. We're about even time-wise. I think I have a small edge, just due to my space. That's about it. Just almost entirely due to that space advantage. Now I can activate this piece. Maybe I can think about sinking it into e6. I'll pre-move this capture. I think he might be getting to a point where he wants to take on e1. His pieces are very congested. It's just hard for him to make a move. Okay, so one less defender of e6 now. Oh, I really want to play this move, knight e6. Like, very badly. Problem is my bishop is undefended on this square. I think it's kind of run its course on h5. So let's bring it back to f3. I really want to do knight e6. Especially with this pawn being fixed on b7 now. If I can play knight e6, even if I somehow drop a pawn, I think the weakness of b7 could make up for it. Yeah, now knight e6 is a significant threat. And wow, he's just inviting me to play it. I can also play rook e6 first. That would ensure the rook trade. That looks really good too. Knight e6 or rook e6. Rook e6, rook takes, pawn takes. That's going to put him under significant pressure. Let's do that. And I'm banking on a tactic here. I don't know, though. I might want to take with my knight on e6. Rook takes, pawn takes, take on g5, f takes, queen e7. Do I have anything there? Not sure. Maybe not. Thought I had something there, but... His knight gets to the e5 square. That's super annoying. Don't like that at all. Okay, I'm just going to take with the knight. He instantly moved back. Let's just go king g2. Let's go here. Getting closer to blitz mode, sort of. I think I still have an advantage. I just really like my piece activity. Really, really like it. Yeah, now I can take this guy. Okay.
Check.
I'm going to go for this endgame now.
Check.
This has got to be good. His minor pieces are all stuck on the king side. So how's he going to cope with... Let's do this first. He's just going to be hard-pressed to deal with this. And now I can more or less advance my pawn with no problem. Knight d7 seems kind of forced. Still. Yeah, this is big trouble for him. This bishop dominates. Probably not enough time for him anyways, but... Oh, let's just go here just to be safe. Being uber safe. Uber cautious. Take this guy.
Check.
Go back. Yeah. Could he have taken on b6 instead at the end. Yeah, I guess my last move was kind of inaccurate. This take on b6, because he could take back and he'd be forking the 2 pieces. Okay, I like that game. I felt in control for most of that game, if not almost all of it. So here's how it went. And then bishop e3. Don't see knight bd7 too often in this position. Usually black is committing one of their pawns or playing the knight to c6. I'll have to look up this Doggers game. I'll post it in the comments if I find it. I'm sure I find it because I know it's in my database. But this is all standard stuff. And white is repositioning the knight at black's behest because he is chasing it. But I don't mind doing this with my knight, like bringing it back through f2 and then playing f4, because f4 is always on the horizon for white. I always want to try to achieve that move if I can. Push him back in the center. I just don't think this pawn structure is that great for black. He's got 2 isolated pawns to my 1 isolated pawn in the center. I think if black plays this line, he has to roll the dice and play b5 somewhere. But the problem is where to do it. You know, maybe this was a good chance to do it right here. We'll find out. Or even the previous move. Let's see. Take. Yeah, take on a8 here. Bishop takes b5. Yeah. This was like some kind of close to how my game with Doggers went. So, b5 was not good there. Queen f6. Because now, if he can't play b5, like what is black's plan? I talked about in my Chess Fundamentals series, no pawn break, no plan. Right? That's what Axel Smith says in his book, Pump Up Your Rating. So, if no b5, what does he do? Because the rest of his structure is entirely static. It's just totally fixed. Not that my structure is that malleable as well, but I have more space and my minor pieces are better. So I don't think the onus is on me to try to break free in this position. I liked a5. Computer doesn't like a5. I like that move a lot. Oh, you know why? Because it sees a way that it can target my pawn. It says here and then go queen d8 and take a gander at the pawn. And then the only way, well, what if queen a1? That's so passive though. Queen a1 just looks like a super defensive move. So that would have like pinpointed the drawback behind a5. Otherwise, a5's a great move for me. Yeah, knight d1, my pieces aren't going in the direction I want them to. So that would have been a good option. Instead, so this occurred. I didn't want to commit to g3, but it felt like when he played bishop h6 that I should play that move, just to ensure the future of the f-pawn. Knight e5. So this one was possible for him. That's a cute way to activate the knight. And if I take, he takes here. Take the queen, and he gets at e1. He needs to look for some shot like that in order to make this position work. Otherwise, it's a lot of suffering. I don't want to trade too many minor pieces with him because he's got all this minor piece congestion. So I was more looking to get the major pieces off the board and try to target his pawns, like b7 or d6, in the hopes that something like the game occurs. Yeah, now here, I really wanted to take with the d-pawn, but I was looking at this line, take, and now queen e7, in order to hold that pawn. I just didn't see anything. I thought if this, he could take here. And then if this, just like queen d7 or something. But I guess I do this and then take on d6 at the end. Okay. And it much prefers white. Says I'm practically winning here. Yeah, I just disregarded that line when I saw that there was no forced win here, and also that his knight was getting in through e5. So I played it safe with knight takes e6, which still keeps a pretty nice advantage. Queen e2. I'm okay with an exchange if it happens when I get a protected pass pawn. And his knight's like, this other knight's out of the game. That's fine with me. But other than that, I really want to make him suffer. Yeah, and Queen e6.
Check.
This is a nice way to transition into the endgame.
Check.
And with these pieces off sides, yeah, he's just busted. I thought about throwing in bishop c8 check too. Looks like that would have been a decent idea before taking the pawn. Yep, and I think this is pretty much over. This is going to cost him a piece. And then it might be a little bit of technical work. But, yeah, and with his time disadvantage too, it was over.
Check.
Okay. Well, I hope I can find that game against FIDE Master Peter Doggers, and I'll be posting that. Hope you guys enjoyed this one and maybe learned a thing or two about this system. I'll be back with one more game today. Thanks, guys. Bye.